Yo, what's up guys, it's TGFC Highlights, and today we will be discussing my Premier League predictions for the 2021 season, and we will be starting off from 20th place to 1st place. I hope you guys enjoy. Please leave a like and subscribe. Alright guys, so 20th place we have West Brom. I'm pretty sure this one's a simple one. They haven't really brought anyone in. Slaven Bilic isn't the manager to keep teams up in my opinion. Their only hope is really Mateus Pereira, who had 8 goals and 20 assists this season, or last season in the championship, and Kamil Grosicki, who had 8 assists. So yeah, basically those are the only players that can really help West Brom stay up, otherwise they don't really have a good enough squad. Alright guys, 19th place is pretty much a no-brainer, a simple one. I think that Fulham are gonna be the next team to get relegated. I don't think they're a Premier League quality team. I've seen them play in like the playoffs against Cardiff City, I believe, and they haven't really bought anyone in or invested this season. Last time they came in and actually invested, didn't turn out good, so I'm pretty sure they're kind of afraid this time to invest, but they haven't invested, so I feel like they will struggle. Alright, my 18th place team, last team to get relegated, is going to be Crystal Palace. I feel like they just don't have the quality anymore. I feel like they've been lacking recently, but the only good player with quality is basically Zaha, who didn't have a good season last season. That's why no one wants to buy him. And yeah, I feel like we're gonna do pretty much terrible. Some players might show performances just to sign for a different team after Crystal Palace, but I feel like we're gonna get relegated because they only got 4 points on 9 games, which is 4 points out of 27 they could have got after restart, but they only got 4. And every time I see Crystal Palace losing, I just always see Roy Hodgson just laughing and smiling like he doesn't really care that they lost. So I don't think that's the right mentality to go into the Premier League. So I think Crystal Palace are going to go down. Alright, next team we have just avoiding relegation is going to be Newcastle United. I feel like they had a terrible season, and I feel like we're going to even have a worse season next year because their takeover was cancelled by the Premier League. It broke down, and I feel like their players are going to slack even more. I don't think we're going to be too good. They haven't been bringing anyone in like most teams because of the coronavirus, but there have been news that Maitland-Niles and Maitland-Niles might sign, and Jeff Hendrick has already signed. But I don't think we're going to do too much. I don't think Maitland-Niles is going to leave. He's more likely to go to Wolves, but I'm going to put Newcastle 17 for striker Sook. Joe Linton, since he's coming, he's barely scored anything. Okay, now we have 16th place. Getting more interesting. I put Aston Villa. I feel like the Villains have a decent squad with Tyrone Mings in the back. Jack Grealish probably staying now unless Man United are going to be willing to get him instead of Sancho, which is possible to happen, but I don't think it will happen. But I feel like overall the team is kind of lacking. It was lacking after restart. They were lucky to stay up because they had that 1 point advantage over Bournemouth, but I feel like they will do better than last season. Still struggle a bit because I feel like not all of our players are top quality, but I feel like their manager can handle it and they will stay up again. Okay, next team guys is 15th place, and I put Sheffield United. Obviously they had a really good season. I'm pretty sure we finished 10th or 11th this Premier League season, and I feel like they could have easily got Europe, but they slacked after restart. They couldn't win too much games, only grabbing 11 points out of 27, which dropped them down a lot. But I feel like their season was a little bit lucky, and this season will be a little bit worse. But good job to Chris Wilder and his team. But they had a really good defense, but not too good of an attack. But 15th place isn't bad for them. I'm pretty sure a lot of fans will be happy with that. They didn't have much signings either, so I can't really talk about them too much. Alright guys, 14th place I put Burnley. I feel like they aren't going to do too good because a lot of teams like Chelsea are bringing in attacking players, and Burnley is a team that has a really strong defense, but I feel like it's going to get harder for them this season. I feel like Nick Pope might leave to Chelsea because Chelsea's obviously buying all these players. I don't know how they got so much money, I guess from saving up such a long time, but it's going to be a huge loss for Burnley if he goes. He was one of the best goalies in the Premier League, and that is what I'm going to say. Burnley is going to get 14th place. Okay, 13th place I put Southampton. I feel like they are a regular mid-table team with Ralph hasn't hit doing a good job. I feel like he could potentially put them higher this season, but they recently signed Walker Peters, Salisu, which are really good players, and extended Ward-Prowse's contract, but unfortunately they sold Højbjerg, who was a key player in the midfield. But I still think they're going to do alright. They also got 18 points after restart, which is as much as Liverpool did, and they also beat Man City along the way. So good job to Southampton. Alright, guys, 12th place. A lot of people have been waiting for this one. I put Leeds United. This one was a little bit tough. I didn't know if they were going to be higher, this higher or lower, but I have a feeling they will do really good because Bielsa is a really good manager. After restart, they won 7 games, tied one, and lost one in the championship, which shows how good the team can play. They also beat a bunch of teams by a huge margin, and even though our best defender, who was Ben White, left the club because Brighton wouldn't let them extend the loan or buy him, or they couldn't afford him. But they still have Calvin Phillips, who is a good central defending midfielder, and they're planning to bring in Rodrigo, who had 7 goals, 11 assists for Valencia in the La Liga, potentially their best player, considering Valencia did so bad. But Leeds are also planning to bring in Rob Holding, who played against Man City and Chelsea and won the FA Cup final with Arsenal. And they're planning to also get Callum Chambers for Arsenal, who has been injured a lot, but I feel like he's a good player as well for Leeds. And yeah, I feel like they could do really good next season. Okay, West Ham United is my 11th place team. I feel like they just had a really bad season and got unlucky. But with the quality players of Mikel Antonio, Declan Rice, and Felipe Anderson, I feel like they will do better next season. Unless they sell some of those key players. But I feel like they finished off with 12 out of 27 points after restart, which isn't bad for considering they did so bad at the start. Uh, they also beat Chelsea 3-2. Obviously, it became a meme, and Antonio scored 4 goals. So I feel like if the manager does a little bit better, I feel like he could bring them up a little bit to 11th place. And yeah, it will be another decent season for West Ham United. I'm pretty sure West Ham United fans wouldn't be mad about that. Alright, 10th place I put Brighton. This was a tough one, but I feel like their defense is really good. They have Lewis Dunk, who was an excellent player. Ben White, who's arguably the best championship defender, who obviously did good for Leeds on loan, but Brighton wasn't willing to sell him back. They got a Veltman for £900,000, I believe, which was a really good bargain, really good player. He's gonna get called up to the Netherlands national team in September, so obviously a good player. So their defense is gonna be solid. I feel like they'll be like a Sheffield and Burnley, but they're gonna get 10th place and lose less goals than they did. Alright, guys, now it's gonna get more intense. Ninth place, I put Wolves. I feel like they are a really good team and have a good coach with Nuno Espirito Santos, of course. But I feel like they're gonna drop some spots this season, because they will sell some players, of course. But I think they are still gonna have a good season with Jimenez obviously having his best season last year, hoping to improve this year. Always hungry. They obviously lost to Sevilla towards the end in the Europa League semifinals, so we're gonna look for revenge. But I don't think it's gonna be as good of a season as last year. So yeah, I'm gonna put Wolves 9th place. Alright, next team I put Everton 8th place. I feel like Ancelotti is the man to lead them, even though a restart wasn't too good. I feel like they improved from before restart, and I feel like Ancelotti's gonna prepare them, and good things are gonna happen. They've been linked with good signings like Doucouré, James Rodriguez, and Allen, all of which are really good players, which would be a good signing to our midfield, which has been lacking recently. And yeah, I feel like Ancelotti can help Everton get back to top 8. And of course, we also have Richarlison, who's a great player, and I feel like we're going to do better than last season. Alright, 7th place, you probably know who it's going to be, Leicester City. I mean, people would expect them to go higher after a good season, but I think they're not going to repeat what they did last year because Spurs and Arsenal aren't going to be as bad as they were last year. At least Arsenal wasn't. But I like Brendan Rodgers. He's obviously an experienced manager with Liverpool and Celtic, I believe. And Vardy is a good player. I don't know if he's going to do too good because of his age now. He's going to be like 35, I'm pretty sure. But they also suffered a big loss of Ben Chilwell, even though he had 3 goals and 4 assists only. I feel like he was a key player. At least that's what all the Leicester fans said. So I feel like we're still gonna do pretty good, but get 7th place because we only got 9 points out of 27 after restart, which isn't too good. But since we lost Chilwell, we're definitely gonna drop down. No Europe for them next season. Alright, 6th place I put Spurs. I feel like they have some amazing players like Heung-min Son, who didn't do too good after restart, but still an insane player. Harry Kane, who's obviously good. He could score goals. And their midfield is a little bit shaky since Eriksen left, but obviously Lamela was doing pretty poor, Morrow wasn't doing good enough, and a shaky defense was also bad. Only Loris was pretty much having to carry the defense. But I feel like and I feel like their transfers aren't going to be too good. Like Højbjerg, he might be a sub, he might start, who knows. Hart's obviously a backup goalie instead of Loris. He's also old. They're not the best players, so I feel like if we're going to move up, obviously, because they just had a bad season, just like Arsenal last season. But sixth place is going to be for max, in my opinion. They're not gonna go they're not gonna go into the top five, and even though they had 18 points after restart, I don't think they're just a good enough quality team. Okay, top five. Now getting more interesting. I had a hard decision between Man United or Arsenal, but I picked Manchester United. I feel like restart was good for them, even though they technically had the easiest game. But Fernandes showed his class, scoring 27 goals and 22 assists between his two leagues last season. He scored 8 goals and 7 assists in the Premier League, which he barely played in, and had 8 goals and 4 assists in Europa. Pogba was also looking sharp with Greenwood and Rashford, especially since Pogba came after a bad injury. I feel like they performed really well. I feel like they will still have to keep up with the other teams and not focusing on just Sancho, but buying some more signings to maybe stabilize their team more and have like backup in case some of their players aren't gonna do too good. But I feel like if they could make a couple more signings, they could stay top. They could get top 4, but for now, top 5. Okay, guys, now it's gonna get more interesting. Fourth place, I got Arsenal, which is my favorite team, of course. Arteta was really good after restart, getting wins against Chelsea 2-1, Man City 2-0, and a win against Liverpool in the Premier League 2-1, getting 16 wins out of 30, I believe, which isn't too good, but also won the FA Cup, which was a really good game. I feel like they got unlucky against Leicester because Eddie Nketiah got a red card, but the loss against Brighton and Man City at the start were really embarrassing and bad. I feel like Willian, who had 11 goals and 9 assists, and William Saliba, who got his team into the French Cup final, are two good players, and they will be potential starters for Arsenal, if not starters, but they are really good players. I feel like Arsenal are also going to get Gabriel, which is almost confirmed. They will probably sign Aubameyang as well, and they have been linked with players like Awar and Partey, who they might sign, but the Gunners are hoping to sign, of course, Aubameyang, which is the biggest signing, who finished with 23 goals in the Premier League last season. That's why I'm putting Arsenal 4th place, and you gotta trust in Arteta. Okay, guys, my 3rd place team is Liverpool, which might be a shocker, but they look very unfocused at the end of restart, and picking up only 17 points out of 27, which is a bit better than Arsenal, obviously, but I feel like they will drop. They haven't been making signings at all, really. They have a timeline for Thiago, but Manchester United are also interested in signing Thiago, which is a bad sign. They only really got a new Greek left back from Olympiacos, I believe, but besides that, no like real transfers. I feel like if they don't buy any players, they're just gonna drop down places, and I feel like they're gonna get 3rd. And you will see why I put them 3rd. They also lost to Arsenal in the FA Community Shield this weekend, and they lost on penalties. It was basically a tie, but I feel like they just weren't playing good enough, and they played a worse right back than Trent Alexander-Arnold, obviously, but I feel like they're still gonna drop down to 3rd place. Okay, guys, now we have 2nd place. I put Chelsea, obviously a really interesting team this summer. They spent probably over 200 million this summer transfer window. Lampard has done a decent job since he's come in. He nearly won the FA Cup, obviously. Lots of good transfers this year, with Ziyech coming in with 8 goals and 21 assists last season for Ajax. Werner had 34 goals and 13 assists last season, which and he's a really good player for the Premier League. He's really fast, and he fits the good striker position. And they also got in Ben Chilwell, who I believe is kind of overrated, but he had 3 goals and 4 assists last season. Apparently he's a decent player. Then we're also planning to get Havertz, which is almost a done deal. Apparently 100 million with add-ons and stuff. He had 18 goals and 9 assists for Bayer Leverkusen last season. They also got Thiago Silva on a free transfer from PSG, a really experienced player. He's really good. They also got Malang Sarr, the 21-year-old center back, French center back, who they're probably gonna loan out. If not, he would be a good addition to their back as well. And I feel like they won't start the season too good, but their squad is gonna be is going to get better towards the end of the season. I feel like 8 players to like the team or whatever we're going to get in might be too much, but they will eventually get into the rhythm of winning, and they will be a good team and get second place. Alright, last team, first place. You probably already guessed it. Manchester City. I feel like they got some good signings. Nathan Ake from Bournemouth, probably the best turn back at Bournemouth, who was doing good most of the 4 years they were in the Premier League or 5. They also got Ferran Torres, who was a good youngster from Valencia. They also uh, have Kevin De Bruyne, who was on fire this season, 13 goals and 20 assists, which was his best season. They also scored 102 goals and only let in 35 goals, with a goal difference of plus 67, getting plus 15 more than Liverpool. But they're obviously heavily linked with Messi, who wants to leave Barcelona. Of course, he didn't come to like the COVID-19 test in order to practice this week, so it looks like he's gonna go. But the thing is, La Liga and Barcelona aren't willing to let him go for under 700 million, which is a crazy amount. I don't know if Manchester City is going to be able to negotiate it, but Messi wants to leave. He wants to start a new chapter, so I believe if they get Messi, they're definitely going to win the Premier League. I feel like they could still win the Premier League without Messi because for a quality side, but who knows, the Premier League is going to be really competitive this season, and I feel like the top 5 or even 6 with Spurs might have an even battle throughout this whole season. I don't think a team can go like undefeated this season, but we'll see. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. I enjoyed recording this video. It took me a long time, but it's fine. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave a like and subscribe and share with your friends if you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. Leave a like and subscribe, and peace out.